Richard, thanks you so much for coming on today. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh yeah, we're excited to have you on. Mom told me all about you. Well, mom told me a good amount about you, but I'm glad that you're able to come on. I know you have a busy schedule.
Yeah, same. I've heard a lot about you too from the same source, Mom.
Yeah, absolutely. I like your wherever you're at. That's your house. I like the setup you have back there. That whole entire.
Yes. This is my house. This is a custom wall that I had done from some flooring, actually. We had some leftover flooring and we took the floor and extended it to the wall. So that's
That looks
that.
amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I really like that.
It's a light up here. I was gonna cut the light on, but I thought it would like
Oh yeah, you
create
be backlit. Yeah, you don't want
a weird glare, so I didn't do it.
I'm glad you did. No, you're good.
So Brandon, tell us, welcome to the Buckle Up Podcast Universe, Richard.
Yeah, buckle up.
I'm buckling up. I'm putting my seatbelt on right now.
I saw you. I was like,
safety first.
Wait, cloud recording storage is full. Oh, I'm saying cloud recording storage is full. Cloud recording will be disabled. Okay, I think we're good, Richard. I don't think it stopped.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I was just making sure this thing didn't accidentally stop on you.
Okay, cool.
No, you're good, Richard. Yeah, so welcome to Buckle Up Podcast Universe with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush. I appreciate you buckling up. I want to have Mom come over a little bit so she's actually on camera.
Okay.
And actually, I'll back up.
Well, Richard, let me tell you something. You have been a blessing to Mama Rush. I just want to let all the viewers know that. I want you to see how I'm looking. Richard, look how my hair
Why don't you actually show them in the camera?
Look, my hair's not being seen. Can you see my hair?
Oh yeah, I can see you.
Okay. Fans out there, we have 4.7 million followers are following us, and I want you to see the miracle Richard performed on my hair.
Richard, you did a phenomenal job. This is I have to be honest, this is the best I've seen my mom's hair look in I don't know how long.
Oh wow.
Actually, since the lady that used to, I'm dead serious. Since the lady that I can't remember her name off the bat, but she passed away tragically of pancreatic cancer.
Yes,
we spoke about Wendy quite a bit.
Yeah. So you do a phenomenal job. Not since Wendy have I seen it at some point. Her hair still look great, but it hasn't looked this perfection, like ready for TV.
Oh, thank you so much.
And you did my hair last Friday. But I want you, before we talk about all this, I want you to tell us a little bit about how you got interested in doing hair, how it started, your whole history. If you don't mind, I want to know the journey to greatness.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, before I start, let me say thank you both so much for having me on. Like, I'm so honored. Like, I'm so excited. I can't contain myself right now. I'm glad I put my seatbelt on.
Yeah,
so now
exactly.
I got a little bit of restraint.
That was great. I love that. That was great.
I'm glad I'm ready for the ride. But no, seriously, thank you guys both. Yeah. And Brandon, your resume is outstanding.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. God's been good, and I've worked extremely hard to get to where I am. But it's taken people to help me too. It wasn't just me by myself. It's taken a village.
Yes,
and my parents.
Yes, the same. But my story. My name is Richard Sims, but I go by Richard the Stylist. Okay. And it's Richard the Stylist and not Richard the Hairstylist because I'm a hairstylist, makeup artist, wardrobe stylist, creative director. And so I do a lot of things when it comes to the beauty industry. But how I got here, I started as a dancer. I started as a only child.
Okay.
My mom is an orphanage. My dad has a pretty decent sized family, but I was raised predominantly by my mom, who is an orphanage. And so her thing was, and this is crazy because I know now because I'm older, but she didn't have the I'm gonna say the upbringing to raise a child because no one technically raised her.
Yeah.
And so the way that she raised me was solely through love.
Yeah.
And then experiences as they came.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that she allowed me to do was honestly be myself from beginning to now. And that started my journey of one dance. I danced for years. I think I stopped dancing I think I stopped at like 21.
Okay.
And then I transitioned from dance to the beauty industry.
Okay.
And then that's where I started a career in that journey. And so it was very difficult for me to transition though, because I've been a dancer for so long. Yeah. Not only have I been a dancer for so long, but in high school, I knew I was going to be a dancer.
Okay.
So a lot of the technical things I didn't pay attention to because they didn't matter on stage.
Yeah.
So when I transitioned and had to go to beauty school, there was a different dynamic that I needed to understand.
Okay.
And it took a long time for me to actually get there, but the dynamic had nothing to do with education, nor did it have to do with skill set. But I came from being a dancer, and I did all types of dance, so jazz, hip hop, contemporary, but more importantly, praise dance. And so from praise dance, what I did understand was that there was a journey that connected to a ministry. And I didn't understand that in hair when I first started.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how is hair a ministry? I'm just doing people hair and making them look good.
Uh-huh.
This is like the beginning of that process.
Yeah, no,
And
take
then
your time, Rich. We're listening.
what I realized later is that this was more so than a journey, but it is the ministry. And it's also the bridge that connects me to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a talent. Hair is just a talent, but outside of that, there's a bridge, and that bridge connects me to other people, and it gets me to tell my story, explore myself, but more so than me, it gets me to build the confidence in them.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so I learned that later, but for gist of it, I transitioned from being a dancer to a cosmetologist, and I've done a lot of different things over the cosmetology journey for myself. But one of the things that made me stand out and to like captivate me into like this entity in South Carolina is
Yeah.
that I've won two of the major hair shows that we've had here, which were $10,000 battles.
Holy smokes.
And so I don't
Congratulations.
really. Thank you, thank you, thank
That's
you.
a huge accomplishment. I don't. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
congratulations. Yeah.
Excellence.
thank you. I was just young at the time, and I was just literally just going and putting everything I had into it. And so, where is a big accomplishment? Like I never took the time to take the breath to say I did this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because of course I came from poverty, I came from a single mom. My mom was an orphan, so like the exposure to the world, I really didn't have. I had a
Yeah.
very sheltered life, and not sheltered as far as like, I wasn't allowed to do things, but I was just protected because there was not knowledge about the things that might occur.
Yeah.
So it
Oh,
was just
yeah.
like, let's not explore you to these things because I don't know anything about them. And I'm saying
Yeah.
I don't. That's referencing to my mom. But what she did allow me to do is explore as much as possible and be the biggest creative that I could possibly be. And so I don't know, but that's my journey.
No. Keep going, Richard. I want you to keep going with it. That's so important to say. And I just want to touch on one brief thing, but then I'm gonna get right back to it. Where my parents raised me, I was raised in such a beautiful life where people are trusting and people will help you out and kind of that stuff. I was in for when I went to New York, still had the same thing. Loved it in New York. When I went to Los Angeles, it was a shell shock because everything my parents taught me was not the same thing that they were teaching out there. And so it was a complete shock, and like all the trust and stuff I had in people, I learned the hard way several times that life isn't like that. I learned very difficultly out there that way. So going back to you with you saying that your mom did the best, your mom could do the best she could, and you like just kind of learning along the way. I want you to continue back with that. Don't stop where you were. You're still going a place with that.
Yeah, so a lot of the life journeys that I've had was because that I had the freedom of my mom allowed me to be a creative. And so at an early age, I started just dancing. I think because I had so if we go back to my I guess
Yeah,
my
take your
family
time.
is
Take your
that
time.
like so my on my dad's side of the family, um, they're mostly girls that I was raised with. So like my
Okay.
female cousins.
Yeah.
And so we used to go to the I did not put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'm so sorry.
Are you
That's
good?
all right.
We can't hear anything on
Um,
our end.
We didn't hear it.
um, and so I hung out with my female cousins a lot, and so they had a dance team at the time, and so they had this dance team, and they would perform at the skating ring,
Okay.
The Red Wing
Yeah.
Rollaway.
Okay. Is that in
And so
South Carolina?
yes, this is South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah. And in that process, what happened is the way I became a dancer, and I don't even think my cousins know this. So if they see the podcast, eventually they were like, "Oh wow, we helped you." But
Yeah.
they wouldn't let me dance with them because I was a guy.
Oh.
And what I did not know was that I had a skill in dancing that no one had like identified with yet.
Yeah.
And my only get back was that if they wasn't going to allow me to dance with them, I was going to dance against them. And I did. And I
Yo.
did. And my first talent show that I won at the skating ring was against my cousins.
Oh my. Let's go, Richard. Let's go. I bet they wish they had you on the team now.
Right. So yeah. So that's a fun fact of kind of how I started. but I talked about my mom being an orphanage and like how she kind of she brought me up with just kind of just this love and this I don't know what word to use, but she instilled in me to be myself. One of
Yeah,
her things
absolutely.
is don't be a follower, but be a leader. And
Amen.
while that's so simple, it's so simple, but it's taking me to so many places where I can make decisions because I really could hear her in the back of my head saying, "Are you following or are you
Absolutely.
leading in this moment?"
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And so I
absolutely.
chose my decisions off of literally those few words.
Yeah.
But I said that to say I talked about my mom, but my dad is a different entity where I was not raised in a household with him
Uh-huh.
every day.
Yeah.
This guy was like the dream chaser. He's like, "You want to do it? Let's do it." So my dad
Okay.
actually took me to my first talent show that
Okay.
was outside of the skating ring, and
Yeah.
it was called the Apollo at the Township.
Okay.
Oh,
And so it was similar to the Apollo on TV,
Yeah.
but
yes.
it was in South Carolina,
Okay.
and it was here at the Township Auditorium. And I was a kid then, so I competed in the kids competition, and I won that for years.
Oh wow. Oh
I won
wow.
it for
Okay,
years.
Richard.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think that builds my dad and our relationship is because I'm testing myself on how I want to say this,
Oh
but I
yeah,
think
it's
one
all
of the things
good.
that build our relationship is that what I admire about him, honestly, is that what dad doesn't want like a basketball or a football
Yeah.
star? Like every dad wants
Yeah.
that,
Every
right?
day
Like everybody
baseball.
wants like right baseball, any of the sports. It could be any sport,
Yeah.
but dancing, modeling, acting. I'm sure you can attest as an actor. You know what I mean? It's not like the ideal. That's my son career or job.
Well,
And
acting,
what
they
it
were pretty happy though.
well, I could well granted.
Yeah.
But Brandon played football.
Yeah, but I played sports all my life though. I played football my whole life.
Okay, right, cool, cool.
Basketball.
And it's but for me, and my dad never told me this. He never said this verbally, but
Mhm.
where I can see everybody else. I can see all the things. And so one of the things that I admire about him, even though he didn't raise me full time, is that when there was an opportunity for him to be proud of me,
He did it.
Mhm.
mind blown, out of this
Yeah.
world. Like it's uncaptivating of like the joy that this guy has for me.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna sound like the ideal son, but he had to take scrutiny for the guy that I am. Like
Yeah.
people don't understand me. And so a lot of times they would backlash him. And so the just to see him and to understand like how proud he is of me and what I've accomplished over this time is mind blowing. And so I
Yeah.
love my dad. So shout out to my dad. Shout out to my
Absolutely.
mom.
Shout out. He's amazing. That's amazing father, and especially in the South, because you know how the South is. Like
Right.
for him to for him, first off, he's proud of his son. And so many people need to hear that. There's so many people, Richard. The only reason I'm interjecting to say this, so many people need to hear that who sons might be going into different avenues other than sports and all that. And to have an example of your father, I assume your dad's black, right? I assume.
Yes.
Oh yeah, a
I
black
hope
man.
so.
Yeah, it's all good. A black man at that who is dealing with who sticks up for his son, is proud of his son and all that. And you said that people might have gave him flack. I'm glad that your dad was like, you know what, that's my son. I'm gonna support him no matter what.
That's right.
And 100%. And you won the competitions on top of that.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm happy about that. That's so important. People don't realize how important that is. Even just to have your dad say, "Hey man, I love you," or my dad did all that stuff for me, and so did my mom. But a lot of there's kids out there that don't get to hear that.
Right.
But what you
Um,
yeah, go
sorry.
ahead. No, you can.
Okay, so really quick, I just want to say this. So my mom instilled me to be a
Yes.
leader, not a follower. And
Yeah.
so the very first time that I lost a talent show, what my dad instilled in me was that you have to be a better loser than
Yeah.
a winner.
Yeah.
And so that was his quote. And so my mom is like, you got to lead. And my dad was like, you got to know how to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
both.
so, yeah.
That's what I was just getting ready to ask about your mom. I'll say something about your mom because you still hear her saying these words in your head and what she had to go through bringing her son and coming into this world and not having her own parents, but being put out there. But the fact is that didn't stop her from making sure that her son was given everything that she had, continues to have. Is your mother still alive?
Yes.
Yeah, she gave you her all as well. And see, that's just the perfect combination to instill in kids those building blocks they need through life. And then they come and start impacting the world as you're now doing. And so that piece is, and I want the followers to hear that, young people to hear that. Everything leads to greatness if you make it lead to greatness. So with this hair coming into the hair, being the stylist, and you are the stylist, Richard the stylist, because you cover so many things, as you mentioned. Again, you can talk about those things as we go along in the conversation. But being able to do hair as well as dance, tell me about this hair journey now, because I need to know.
Richard, make sure you hit the fact that how you got into from doing those competitions. I don't want to skate over that.
Okay.
I know that we at the end of the day, you are the stylist. But I want you to make sure that we hit. I don't want to just. I want to make sure that you say the story is the most important thing. I feel. I always figure out how people get to where they are is the most important thing. So yes, you are a stylist, but I'm assuming you're leading us on that track. Stay on that track, brother. I'm here on the ride. I'm buckled up too. So
all right, cool. All right, cool. We cool.
Yeah.
So we'll get there. But I think and so I had to make a decision. So after the competitions, after having the lessons instilled in me and moving forward and going through high school and maneuvering, I only wanted to be a dancer. And the thing is that I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't know what it looked like I'm from South Carolina, so there's not a big dance opportunity. I mean, Columbia Ballet is probably like the top of it if you're like in Columbia Ballet. Which was not my desire. My desire was more so like videos, behind the scenes, on stage, contemporary numbers, just different things of that nature, but not necessarily like Columbia City Ballet.
Yeah, no, trust me.
Which is great. Which is great. No, I'm not discounting the value of Columbia City Ballet by no means, but that wasn't my dream.
Yeah.
And let me explain that a little bit just so we can. So ballet is so technical to where there's no real personality. For me, to where contemporary jazz, art, hip hop, and other genres of dance allow just a little bit more flair of your personality, and that's what I'm attracted to. And so I'm less attracted to ballet because of the structure that's behind it. Not anything else. But I just wanted to say that just in case anybody here was like, I'm drinking ballet.
No, you're good. Did you do ballet too?
Yes.
See, that's important.
Yes. Yes. I'm trained in a lot of genres. I'm not trained in tap. I tried a tap class, but for whatever reason, hearing the music and creating music at the same time was not it was not working. It was like no.
Yeah.
But I had to make a decision later on in life at about 21, 22. I had to make a decision, and it was, do I continue this dance journey that I now understand there's no big opportunity? Or do I go on a journey that I had suppressed for so long? And the reason that I had suppressed the journey is because I was already a dancer. Which was not in the South, and this is in like the 90s. So in the South and the 90s, being a guy that did things that were identified as female things or female gender oriented things wasn't as popular. And so what happened was that I actually took hair and put it in my back pocket so nobody would see it.
Oh, wow.
Because I was a dancer and that was already in my front pocket and everybody could see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it was like I'm dealing with learning myself and who I am as a person. And so now I felt like I had to juggle my skill sets or my talents because they both look very feminine to me.
Yeah, it's all.
And it was like,
there's people in the world. Yeah, people in the world, man. Don't worry. My mom always said, "Don't care. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks." So she was actually right.
Right.
And I hate when people put labels on people.
Yeah.
I hate it.
So you're good.
And it was something that I had to develop, though. I didn't have it at that time, and so at this part, I was like developing it.
Yeah.
And I had to hit that crossroad when I realized that, and I won't say the company because they're still open here to this day. I work for, and this is going to be cool for you, Brandon, because I actually worked for a modeling agency, and what I taught was dance, acting, and modeling to children after school.
Yeah.
And so I taught them these lessons for a company. I mean, for years. I started at like 17. I think I was like 21 when I stopped working.
Okay. Amazing.
So I started like my senior year in high school, and I provided services in dance, modeling, and acting to young kids who desire to be in this field or this industry. But what happened was that I was pouring myself into this thing and fighting for this dream, and I thought that these steps were going to take me to the next place.
Yeah.
And then what I realized is that I was creating, or I'm not gonna say creating, I was operating in someone else's dream,
Yeah. Understand.
not mine.
Not like creating
And
your
right.
Yeah.
So I'm operating in the dream. And what I realized is that there's no way out of operation unless I move so I can
Yep.
operate my own thing.
Absolutely.
With that being said, I had to make a decision to quit that job. And before I made that decision, I saw a commercial, and the commercial was cosmetology school, and it was so captivating to me. It was like, I want to go there.
Yeah.
And something in me that was already there. Remember, I was putting in my back pocket a long time ago. Was that I
Yeah.
could do hair, I could braid in high school, I could do hair in high school. I
Absolutely.
didn't want anybody to know.
Yeah.
And actually, I wanted to in high school. We went to what is it called? I'm having a brain fart. Hayward. It was Hayward Career Center. It's where
Okay.
if if you could go to a separate career center, and then you kind of did work that focused on your career. And so there were things like cosmetology, uh, CAD, architectural, different little careers that you could actually do, trade jobs. And so, or trade careers. I don't want the job. That sounds. And so, I really wanted to go to cosmetology, but
Yeah.
again, in the back of my head, it was just too feminine. It was too flamboyant. It was just all these things that I was trying to get
So
away
sick.
from because I
Yeah.
had to deal with that scrutiny as a dancer. And so it was like, I don't want to do something that's, equal to this thing. And so I'm going to feel this way over here.
Yeah.
And so I suppressed that for a long time. And then after I ran into this crossroad with dancing and where I wanted to be, and when I say a crossroad, just to give some insight, I'm now like 20, 21 years old, and I'm driving around in a van that I bought from my boss, but I cannot afford car insurance, but I'm creating productions.
Okay.
I mean, like major productions, but I'm not making any money, and I
Yeah.
cannot afford to live. So I have to make a decision. I see this commercial, and at the sight of me seeing the commercial, I make the phone call. My second phone call was me quitting.
Was your second phone call was you said was not quitting, right?
No, my second phone call was me calling and quitting my dance
okay,
company.
gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
really
So
uncomfortable to get comfortable.
really, really, really uncomfortable to get comfortable. And I called the dance. I called the really, really.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it
Mom
takes that
talks to me about
sometimes.
that. Yeah, you have to get. Mom talks about getting uncomfortable. Not a guy on here talking about Marine talking about being uncomfortable. You have to get uncomfortable sometimes to follow your dreams.
That's correct.
I don't, and honestly, I'll say this: I don't know not one successful person that has done it in absolute comfort. I can't name one.
Unless you're born into money, and even they still have to work. But unless you're born into money or a nepotism situation, for the most part, you have to do it on your own.
Yeah.
And still, when they're born into money or have money, do you see quickly how boredom sets in?
Yeah.
Even with the money, you think people should be comfortable, but no, it's not. Uncomfortability exists when you're not happy doing what you want to do. I don't care, money or no money. Okay.
Right. Absolutely.
All right. Okay.
I agree with that.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I agree with that 100% because absolutely comfort does not equate money, and money does not equate comfort.
That's
and correct. I think a lot of the things that when we talk about comfort, I think that's instilled from God, and we get comfortable when we get aligned. If you're not aligned, it doesn't matter about how much money you have, talent, skill, brain power, but you have to be aligned with the assignment that God has put you on. And when that happens, you build your comfort, or your comfort, you don't build it. It shows up.
Yeah. Amen. I like it. Wait, Richard, one more time for the back of the room.
Yes, you do not build it. Once you aligned, your comfort shows up. It's there for you.
I love that.
Walk into it. Yeah.
I love that.
Dropping gems over here, Richard.
I'm sorry.
Richard, I'll interject one thing. We're talking about being uncomfortable. If I feel uncomfortableness, I always go to a situation where I feel like I've always felt like a killer whale. And a killer whale is one of the apex predators that you can't keep in a lake or you can't keep in a small pond because it simply will not fit. I'm one of those things that when I don't fit in that area anymore, I have to move and I have to go somewhere else, which is why when I started my career, I went to LA to start there. But when I went into New York, I knew it was time for me to go to New York because I was like, hey, this pond is still there. That's great. I appreciate this pond. But I wanted to do something more, something even tougher than before to prove to myself that I can do that. And one other thing I want to say along those lines with being comfortable, being uncomfortable, is at my auditions, which no one ever knew this until I'm about to say it for the first time, I never used my dialogue. I never had the dialogue in my hand. And one time a casting director told me, Brandon, you can hold the dialogue. And I told her I like jumping without a parachute. And that's where I talk about being comfortable, being uncomfortable. And so I'll go back to you, Richard.
Yes, no, I like that actually because we need those things. I think my
It's all good. I think I can pause it. Let's hear pause. Pause recording. All right, Richard, I believe we are back. Good. But Richard, you're back live in 5 at the
yes.
podcast.
All right.
with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush. You're back on.
Yes. I think we're on comfort. We're talking about comfort.
Being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
Yes. One of the things that you said is like having a rhythm of being uncomfortable. And I think the fact that you don't pick up the dialogue and you know that, and that's like a thing that challenge or something that you do for yourself, it sets you apart.
Yeah.
And for me, I like to be in those spaces because it creates something that you don't know that you can create. And sometimes we think that we have the brain power or like the force to create these things, but we have to be in these uncomfortable situations to get amazing outcomes.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's right.
Ooh, here's another gym. There's another Jim Richard. I'm going to start calling you Jim Richard in a second.
I'll take that.
I might have the title at Jim Richard.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Richard. You're good.
But to go back to Mama Rush and hair and how I see hair and beauty, it was actually uncomfortable for me too. Like I had a vision. I always knew that I could do hair. I used to draw like hairstyles as a kid and females and women and those sort of things. But it took me to be in these spaces to try to figure out myself and find my identity and what hair and beauty is to me because there's a slew of amazing hairstylists, makeup artists, wardrobe stylists. Like it's not just me. Like I'm not like the one that's just like over, there's a lot of them. And so what I had to realize is that I had needed to identify the beauty industry to myself and who I was. And so the hair thing that you're talking about is that I like to see hair dance. To me, it's a rhythm that goes to it. Yes. And so what I add to it is a rhythm. And that rhythm is not just about hair, but it's about the relationship and how I communicate with the client. It's about the person that I'm doing the hair on, not about me doing the hair. And it's not my skill that speaks, it's the inner soul of the person that speaks after I touch them is what I do. And so what I like to tell people is that I'm a confidence builder, not a hairstylist.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? I'm looking to build your confidence through your hair, but I'm not just here to do your hair.
Yeah. Jim Richard, if I can say one thing, the confidence that Mom walked in when she walked into this building, I took a picture of her immediately. She walked because her hair looked great. Yeah, Mom already has confidence, but when I tell you she felt herself.
Yeah, because I want to correct that. I wasn't lacking.
Yeah, I know.
I'll make a wig work.
Yeah.
But when Rich, I walked in that door and it was like,
Richard looked amazing. She had a confidence. It was showtime. She's on camera now with everybody,
Because some pictures, I won't go on camera. I won't go. No. But see, this. Go ahead, Ben. I want you to talk about what you.
No, but that's so perfect because that's the thing that creates the dopamine and the excitement in me. Not when you leave the salon, but how you carry yourself and how you maneuver throughout the world. And then when I get those little responses back, like Brandon took pictures of me as soon as I got home, or a client says my husband loved it, or my little 4-year-old son said, "Mom, I love your hair." Or I get a text message and said, "My daughter never says anything, but now she's like, Mom, your hair looks good." So like those things are like that gives me the excitement and the push to keep doing what I do. Absolutely. It's not that I'm not like head driven over myself and I'm like, I'm Richard the stylist and I do all these great, amazing things. No, I am a vessel and I am just working because my purpose is to create happiness in others, not myself. Absolutely. That is the thing that makes me happy. And so seeing people happy is one of the things that I think hair helps me. It helps like my mental. It helps me like understand my purpose and who I am. Is to see other people have smiles on their faces because of something that I did.
Mm-hmm.
But Bob can tell you, this is way more than hair. Like we talk about every like mental, spiritual, creative, innovative, like all the
Okay.
things. And it takes all of that honestly to instill the confidence and that boldness into people. You
Yeah.
can't just do your hair in silence and think that they're gonna walk outside and be amazing. No, you have to
Mhm.
instill who you are. You have to plant your seed in people and then water that as you continue to deal with them.
Absolutely.
That's the one thing I feel
Absolutely.
about you and what you're saying now for people to hear. When I felt you, I mean, felt the spirit of beauty. I mean, the everything that you do, I could feel that when I sat in your chair and we started to talk. And it's something about you, Richard. And I always say a great hairstylist needs to be paid a psychiatric,
Yeah. Therapy.
as a psychologist, a psychiatry fee, because people, and you have clients who come with so many
So
things
much.
of life that they've dealt with during their work day or family life, and it's too much. But when they have a great stylist, as you are, and you touch that person and listen to what they have to say, and I can only imagine, but the confidence and that they have to share with you and know that you're like a secret, you keep their secrets, you keep that. It's nothing like gossip, anything like that. It's a time where I, as a client, or any client that I know may be out there, can feel that, and so when we can unload and upload to you, I'm sorry you have to listen to all of this, but when clients come in, but I hope along this journey that we have together that I pour something into your spirit as well, that I know you've poured into mine. And so I want to make sure that not only am I receiving, but you are too.
Can I pause, right? Can we pause?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
pause. Let's pause.
Sure, Jim
Let's
Richard. I
go.
got you,
Let's
man.
let's let's go back. Can we go? Can we take those one half a step back to comfort?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I think we could talk about how we actually, because it wasn't, the comfort didn't start from you sitting in my chair.
Mhm.
The comfort started because I walked past you and you saw something on me. I had just did something for a friend. Um, I don't want to like expose too much
Yeah.
information,
It's all good.
but I I prepared one of my friend's moms to go to her ultimate place to go home to
Okay.
see her father.
Yeah.
And in that time frame, I had, or right after it might have been either the same day or maybe the next day, but it was still heavy on me. I
Oh,
was
wow.
still in my discomfort.
Yeah.
Your mom had previously had a conversation with my friend about me. I
Yeah.
was not there. I did not hear the conversation at all. And I walked past her and she said, Richard?
uh,
But at that very moment of me being uncomfortable and and just like in this weird space, it was my first time dealing with the deceased. And I handle it with professionalism, but at the same time, on my personal end, it was kind of a hard thing for me to juggle.
yeah.
And your mom saw, and she saw that on me. And I sat beside her and we talked about, her commuting in Columbia. But what she did for me at that moment is that she made me comfortable in a situation that I did not see
Yeah.
comfort by telling me that it's not how you feel, but it's what you did for the family. It's how you made
Ooh.
them feel. You know what I mean? And so you can strive off of how you made them feel. That should make you feel better
Yeah.
because you did something for somebody that they couldn't provide that for. They can provide that energy and that grace for
Wow.
themselves. And so her telling me that in a time where I was kind of confused about it, I was pleased with my work and I definitely felt like God was pleased with me, but I just
Yeah.
didn't know how to process it. And because I didn't know how to process it, I stood in this very like discomfort, like this weird kind of aura.
Yeah.
And when I walked in, your mom sensed it. And when
Yeah.
she sensed it, she put me in a place of comfort. So it was not what I did for you. It's first you gave it to me, and I'm just returning the favor. And I thank you so much because you brought
Oh,
Oh,
man.
clarity to a
thank you, Richard.
situation that I did not understand.
Thank you,
That's
Richard.
beautiful. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for those kind words. I
Yeah,
didn't even know that, Richard. It's amazing to hear. Mom's always had that way about her.
Yeah. But
yeah.
the Lord was so good because his friends, I was driving from Columbia, but I had driven to Virginia to get my hair fixed and everything. But in his shop, the guy that's his friend and they work together, he said, Carolyn, Mom, I'm gonna say Mama Rush. She didn't know I was called Mama Rush, but any rate, he said you don't have to drive as far from Columbia, South Carolina to North Carolina. I have a person who can do the same thing that he did, or he does, and he said, and he's just as great as I am. He said, I mean, he said you will be so pleased with his work. And he pointed at the seat that he would be in.
Yeah.
And so the Lord had him come in.
Man.
Richard came in, and I said, oh, this must be the young man he's been telling me about.
Yeah.
So,
you felt it.
Yeah, I felt Richard. Yes. I felt that Richard was the one. When I saw Richard stand, I just said, he must be the one. He was getting ready to leave out. But it made me feel so good to see it. And I'm so glad I could say those things to you, Richard.
Yes.
Yeah, you're good, man. Yeah, back on to you, Richard. We're good.
So that C, I was talking about how he's talking to his clients.
Yes, ma'am.
And I hope they understand, and they will understand this, that in talking with you, he never tells anybody's business.
Yeah.
He keeps everything so, and I love that way about you. And it's hard to find that, but with you being that stylist, Richard, the stylist, you definitely have done that. Okay, let me say, hold on,
Richard. Sorry about this thing.
You
still there, Richard?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, cool. Sorry, someone called. I don't have mine on D&D either.
Okay, that's why your clientele is people come in and Richard, let me tell you something. Richard will talk about that. But Richard, I want your clients to know that if they're listening and they're watching this today, they can come to you in confidence and talk about some things, unload. But hey, people out here, y'all better pour into his spirit as well. Not only monetary wise, but give him some pearls to deal with for the rest of the day as well.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Richard. Tell about this.
So I actually follow you. You're absolutely right. I deal with a lot of things when it comes to my clientele, and some of those things are very personal. I've dealt with every aspect of it. I've been a cosmetology now for we're going on 16 years. Oh my God!
Wow,
wait, that's my. All right, I haven't said that publicly.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, almost 16 years as a licensed cosmetologist. But one of the things that we don't talk about a lot, because the beauty industry is growing so much, and there's so many beautiful facets of it. But there's also a very deep and intimate place that I don't think a lot of people talk about, because I've dealt with everything from death, divorce, to breakups, to lost children, to mental breakdowns, to losing jobs, to gaining jobs, to weddings, to new babies, to, you know what I mean? So the highs and lows. So I've been through all of the bad, all of the good. And what it takes, honestly, as a stylist, is being able to cleanse yourself with God.
Amen.
So that you don't get overwhelmed with all of the information and things that people pour on you, because they give them to you for you to carry, so they don't have to. And so you have to learn what to do with those things. And like I said, what I've learned over this time is that this is just a bridge for me. It's not about the style. It's about how I pour into the person.
Amen.
And this is kind of new, and I think this would kind of be cool to say. But I think that we come here to learn, but we come as teachers.
Ooh.
And the reason I say that is because, Brandon, your mom was a totally different entity before you got here. You taught her how to be what she is, same as myself. My mom was a total different entity before I got here, but I taught her to be how she is now.
Yeah.
And so we teach them love, we teach them respect, we teach them how to not go out and party all night because they have a kid that needs to. You know, all the things that happened before us is that we come here as teachers and we align them, and then they align us. Yes. And so it's, you know, I'm just here to teach and to learn and to be that bridge in between. But I think my ultimate journey, I've been working really hard to figure out my purpose in life. And what I've been shown is that my purpose is to provide understanding, clarity, and enjoyment to women.
Okay.
And this is why I do here.
Absolutely. Jim, Richard, I just want to say one thing. I'm
gonna say two things.
Yeah, exactly. I give people nicknames. So you're Jim the stylist, Richard. But I'm just gonna do Jim Richard for short. one thing about my mom is the only thing I changed for her was that she really had to understand the phase of like buckling up for real, because I was that kid that was always getting into stuff. So the only thing, she had everything else, life and party, all that. The only buckling up part was, man, I don't know what this kid B is gonna do next. So that's the only thing. Otherwise, she's been good as is. I gotta say that I didn't have to change anything about it. It's just her having to buckle up with having to get called in. Hey, your son's in the principal's office again, or we have to put your son's desk next to the teachers because he's trying to entertain the class instead of learning.
Right. Well, let me disagree with you just a little bit.
Okay.
Because they learn, because our mothers and our parents, they learn things that we don't really identify with because we haven't been through the journey and the struggle as them.
Yeah.
And so I think personally that I changed my mom in so many ways that I can't even identify with.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But just like honestly turning her from just a woman into an adult. You know what I mean? Taking those sacrifices where her friends who did not have kids was like, hey, let's party.
Go
She's
party.
like, no, I got a baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So those type of lessons where you have to make sacrifices where without the kid, you could do whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But with the kid, you have to really lean on being a true adult and to do things that actually you might not agree with, or it might not be fun, or it might not be cool. But
You're
you had
absolutely
to
right.
like there's let's say a kickback or a house party going on at 7, but your kid has baseball.
Yeah.
At 7. So what, you know what I mean? So learning and teaching them in those manners is kind of what I mean. But yeah.
No, you're good, man. I definitely understand what you mean. Like, I definitely understand what you mean with that, Richard.
Richard, now what happens? I want to tell you about this hair deal that you fixed for me.
Man.
I told you I had to go to a big event, which I did.
Yes.
Before I could get in the door of that event, my nephew, my niece, my siblings ran up to peep out at the party. Wow, wait. I mean, it made me pick out different clothes for myself to wear. And a lady said to me, and I want to tell you this. One of the ladies said, ma'am, I just love your style from time to time. I said, you so much. And then my cousins came up and they said, can we please have his name? And I said, certainly. I never want to be a person. I'm going to tell you this. I will never be a person, as much as I know people try to keep greatness from other people. Yeah. And we heard on this journey, somebody said, a lit candle lighting another does not dim itself.
Yeah.
And so with that said, when they said, and they didn't like how they had their hair and all, and they said, well, you think he will let us come in for a consultation? And I want you to talk if that's a possibility, because the reason I wanted to get to the hair point, because I got so many comments at the party. And I know these were real comments. These were family and friends that we've known for a while. And for them to say that this was wow, it wowed them all. And so with that, they came up to me, can we have his number? I said, certainly. So I started giving you information out. But I want people to understand what you're saying about these hairdos. Now tell me about this creative ability with these hairdos that you do.
Well, let's talk about consultation. So yes, all the cousins and people can come and get consultations. And I prefer that because what a consultation is actually, it's our formal introduction. It's how we meet each other. And it allows us, before I touch you and, you get to liking your hair, disliking your hair, it gives us the space to know each other, your lifestyle, how we mend, how we blend. My life is crazy, so I'm always over here and over there. Sometimes I'm on a plane. Sometimes I'm stable. Sometimes I'm riding. I'm all over the place. And so in that consultation space, I will allow you the ability to learn me and what I do, because I'm not a fit for everybody. Nobody is a fit for everybody.
Yeah.
But I have to go back to, after the consultation, if it's a fit, then it turns into a relationship, and that relationship turns into the bridge. And no matter who my client is, we always end up going into a space where it becomes more personal. And the more personal I feel like I get with the client, the better I service the client.
Oh, okay.
So when I know more about you and your personality, when I can see your flair or the lack thereof, maybe we need to build that. You know what I mean? But if it's already there, Mama Rush. Some people just have it, and regardless of my skill set, the flair is already there.
Yeah, he
And
is. I like.
she comes in with a hat,
Yeah,
and her outfit is always boss.
yeah,
And so before I even touch her, she's already stylish and she's
yeah,
already popping. And so yes, I add that little sparkle on the end of it, but she comes with that already.
yeah,
And so, but this is the thing, everybody don't. And
yeah,
so what my job is to be able to sprinkle something on somebody that did not come with it. But it comes with communication and it comes with the vulnerability to be open with someone. And so
yeah.
I think I have that that kind of that spirit that just allows women to just kind of be open and to get comfortable. And in their comfortability, I become creative.
Absolutely,
Oh,
man. I mean, you were blessed. Well, God bless you with the spirit. You were meant to be here, as my mom will often say sometimes, is you were meant to be here. The way you got here is God meant for you to specifically go into that journey so that you can be this person now who's that vessel for blessing other people's lives. You've touched my life today, just in the few minutes I've been able to hear. I've heard about you, but to get a chance to meet Jim Richard officially, my life has already been blessed by you just being present here and talking today.
okay. So what I want Richard to talk about, and we can do that. Richard, the part when he says the stylist part, Richard, tell about the Met Gala, how you were on TV
Oh, yeah.
doing this whole process. If you could do, because we're gonna get the hair, we can come back, but I want to make sure we don't miss anything with what I
Jim
want you
Richard,
to.
we want you to hit
Okay.
everything.
Yeah, Richard.
I know I do so much, you guys. So it's kind of hard to like, and not only that, I do a lot of things, but like I'm not like a big person that like boast and brag about myself. So
Yeah.
like I kind of just
Mama
like, oh,
Rush is
I did this thing, but that's perfectly fine.
Hey, I'm asking you to speak your truth,
So
Richard.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
am Richard the stylist, and the reason that I'm Richard the stylist and not just Richard the hairstylist is because I do all things beauty. And so one of the things that I like, what I'm known for is doing total looks.
Okay.
A lot of people notice me doing total looks in shows where I create an illusion or a style but it's from like head to toe, hair, makeup, wardrobe. All the wardrobe and all all of the shows that I've done has been custom. Um, and so like I don't go and buy things out of stores. And if I do buy it out of the store, I will alter it or have my seamstress slash designer alter it for me. We put on really big productions. I mean, dancers, models,
Yeah.
all the things. But a part of the styling opportunity.
Oh, Richard, I think you
I
froze
got
first.
I got a call.
Oh, you're good. You're good. If you,
You got it again?
if you didn't take
Okay,
it,
wait.
Richard,
I think
can
I'm
pause it.
no. I think I'm good.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I'm good. Sorry.
Are you good?
That's okay. That's
All
okay.
right.
And then
And so
Richard,
one
we're gonna
thing
have you back too, so don't worry in case.
Yeah.
I don't want you
If
to
I
worry.
mix it out, all right. I got a call back.
Oh, heck yeah! Did you really?
No, I mean from you guys.
Oh, yeah. You did.
You guys
call
are
back,
my
yeah.
call back.
Yeah,
You got to call.
Well, Richard, you're already in season 2, so you're already booked a part, man. You're already
Oh,
on
I'm in
it.
there. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so you're recurring.
No,
Yeah. Okay.
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But one of the things I don't talk about is wardrobe styling. And so I service what I call my luxury or private clients. And what I do with those clients is that I service them hair, makeup, and wardrobe. And so they have a red carpet event, if they have a party, if it's their birthday, if a photo shoot, if you're doing a maternity shoot or engagement photos or any of those things. And then this is where I turn to Richard, their stylist, most of the
Okay.
times because this is where I will style my clients from head to toe, and I'm usually customizing the look.
Yeah.
And so we talk about your do's, your don'ts, your likes, your dislikes. How do you see yourself? How do you want to see yourself in the future? If there was no budget and creativity was at its max,
Yeah.
what would you want to look like? And I try to create that thing for them.
Okay,
Oh,
awesome.
Oh,
Wow. Richard, that's actually impressive. That's really impressive. I'm thinking about when we start getting the bigger, better things, which is where we're heading. I'm like, yo, I gotta call Jim Richard the stylist.
That's right. He'll be our traveling.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Our expenses, we will pay for.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, Richard.
Brandon, I'm telling you, that's why I've been talking about you so
He
much.
has after every single day.
I said, listen.
Every single day.
I said, listen.
I'm so honored.
To me.
Yeah.
I told him, listen to me. When he comes on, everybody's gonna say, man, he's something. Okay, Richard. But that piece about the Met Gala, you were on what
Yes.
station? Tell us a
So
little
I
bit
was
about
on WIS, it's a local news station here. And so what they do is they cover, you know, a lot of the things that goes on that's trending in the world. And so they cover
Absolutely.
Met Gala, but I was called to ask if I would speak on the fashion and give my opinions on what I saw on I think it was a blue carpet this year.
Okay.
And the theme was super fine tailoring, and it was about Black tailoring.
Okay.
So a lot of the wardrobe there was from Black designers and Black creators. And
Richard,
so
sorry, I'm going to for a second, Richard. Your sound's gone down a little bit. I don't know exactly why. Sorry, that's the only reason. That's all good. I can pause it. Yeah, I saw the sound was going. Richard.
Good.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
perfect.
yeah.
The sound had gone out.
So,
I didn't want you to tell that.
I think my earpiece is super sensitive, and so when I touch it, I think it's hanging up.
Okay,
okay,
gotcha.
okay.
You're good.
So sorry, guys.
You're good.
That's quite all right.
Nothing to say sorry about.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Oh, you were talking about it's actually Richard Holmes saying. I think you were talking about you doing the stylist for the WIS and how you got in WIS.
Yeah, sorry, Met Gala.
I got the memory of a champ. That's why I get paid the big bucks.
I'm so glad because I do not.
Yeah, it's all I don't get either, Rich. I'm just saying that.
So I was called in and asked to just kind of give my opinion and my insight about, you know, how I felt about the Met Gala and the styling. And I was super excited because I've never spoken on the Met Gala before,
Okay.
but to be invited to speak about super fine Black tailoring was like that, you know, it made me feel really good as a stylist.
Absolutely.
To be able to have the opportunity to give my opinions on people that I'm not worthy on giving my opinions on, like Diana Ross.
Never sell yourself short.
That's
not short, but in an honorable moment, like Diana Ross, for me to give my opinion of what Diana Ross has on.
I feel you. Yeah.
We are all just people. And God bless each person with a talent. And as long as we're the child of living God, everything we say, I don't care what your position is, God sees it as his best of that person. So you can be, let's see, who you think you are. And remember, God, majority of us are God. Well, a good point. Well, let me bring it down.
Let's just say all of us. Let's just say all of us.
Yeah. If they're a righteous man in the land, he started out with. Let's just bring it down. Let's bring it down to a few. It was a lot of somebody. He kept saying, "Can I bring?" Let's bring it down to us. We're God's kids.
Absolutely.
I don't care who it is, whatever you think your title is, forget about it. We're all God's children.
Amen.
And we're royalty.
Yeah.
We are children of the King. And so therefore, your opinion is as top as any other opinion. So go ahead, Richard. Tell us what you think about it. Yes. Go ahead, Richard.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, it was a lot of different celebrities. And we just kind of went through a slide. I was just giving my input of like what I saw as far as the detail and the tailoring of these custom pieces. Were they Met Gala ready? Were they not Met Gala ready? So it was a short segment, but it was really fun to be able to do. I did it alongside one of the anchors there, Billie Jean Shaw, which is also a friend of mine, which is also not only a friend, but also a client of mine.
Okay, awesome.
But that opportunity was like ecstatic to be able to, you know, be on TV in front of my community and give my opinion as a stylist. So I'm very pleased for that moment.
Absolutely.
Mama Rush.
Well, you have to see how everybody out there, you all should have seen how Richard was dressed.
Oh yeah,
in a pinstripe suit. I'm telling you.
You're embarrassing me.
Oh, the hat and listen, is that out there on YouTube or somewhere?
I had the video.
I do have, so the video I think I think it might be on WIS website still.
Okay.
If not, I mean, I have pictures of me in the suit on my Instagram page.
Yeah. You should, Richard. Two things, Richard. The video you sent me, do you have that on your Instagram? If not, I'm gonna tell you why you should.
Let's tell me why I should, because I don't.
I'll give you the exact reason why. You never know. One, you never know who's looking. I learned this lesson back in 2013. I'm working at a place called some kind of restaurant, and I see J.J. Abrams, who's a huge director who directed all the Star Trek movies and stuff like that. J.J. Abrams came in with his daughter. There are all these actors there. None of them knew who he was. I knew who he was. And I was like, Mr. Abrams, I absolutely love your work. Like, I'd love to work with you sometime. And he asked me if I had my demo reel on me. My demo reel, which is the thing that has all your acting stuff on it. At the time, all I had was soap operas, so I didn't have it. But I thought about what he said, and because of that, that's why you look at my page, it has everything I've done on there, because I never know who's looking. And if I run into J.J. Abrams again, it's Mr. Abrams, I have everything here. So by you having your video on there, Richard, it automatically shows you to an audience that you don't know who's looking out there. But if someone looks up stylist or all the different things you do, cosmetology, all that, you have to hashtag all those things, they'll see your video and like, hold on a second, who is this person? Even when I travel, I've traveled a lot. I've worked in a lot of different, in the 77 TV shows and movies I've been on. I've worked in New York. I've worked in Atlanta. I've worked in New Orleans, Pittsburgh, Mexico, California, all over the place, Virginia, South Carolina. When I was in New Orleans, if I'm in a place where I don't know anybody, I always look up hashtag barbers. So when I was doing NCIS New Orleans in New Orleans, I looked up hashtag barber, New Orleans barber, found an amazing barber down there who happened to be from New Orleans, who told me about everything. But I was able to find that through the hashtag, which is why you should be doing that, because there's someone out there like me who's searching for that kind of stuff.
Received.
Yeah.
Received. I'm posting it as soon as it's
there
over.
You go. And then and I always say this other thing. My mom used to say, Brandon, don't worry about what people think. A lot of times we hold back because, and I'm a humble guy too, but a lot of times we hold back because we're worried about what our friends think. Or your family thinks. You need to look outside of that, because that could actually deny your blessing too by not having that out there. What are my friends going to think? Don't worry about what they think. This is going to better you, help you be better for someone else or bless someone else. So that's the other thing I just wanted to say there.
No, thank you so much, Brandon. That's real talk, and I'll take that. And I hold it dear to me, because you're absolutely right. And sometimes I get into my head and I think about other things, or I just get too creative and just don't think it's enough. And so, or I'll just be so humble that it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. People don't need to know that. And so I appreciate that, because it's something that I really need to utilize as a person, because
Absolutely.
I will shy away from something and leave it there.
I'm telling you, Jim Richard, you need to not. And I was that way for a long time too, Jim Richard. But the reason I stopped was, one, I was in that thing too of like, hey, like not feeling comfortable myself. One was when I stripped for Betty White. That got me out of that comfort zone of things. Right? That really did. Yeah, I was, before I did, that's the most comfortable I've ever been in my lifetime on set. Now I'm really comfortable, but I gained all my confidence from that, because I've never been so comfortable, because I can dance too. But with me posting my stuff out there, because I realized I'm trying to help bless people outside of myself. So that's why I always post all my acting stuff. That's why I keep posting these numbers every single day, because they keep going up by the thousands, if not millions each day, because that I am denying being the opportunity to help somebody else out by not being as great in what God blessed for me. I got to tell my friends, and then I found out that they weren't the ones that really were. Oh, sorry. It's all good. I think it's the ear thing. It's all good.
Okay. The earpiece.
Yep. Oh, I think we're still on though, but
good.
I gotta pause the recording.
Okay. We're on pause.
Richard, you're good. It's just when you tapped, I think I had to pause it though, so you're good. But Richard, what I was saying was about, and I won't take too long on it, was the fact that you don't want to deny your blessing. But the reason I kept posting my stuff out, because I realized that everything relies on me being successful in this show. So I had to put my numbers out there, and I'm showing, because people are looking, and more people come like, man, dude, Brandon, yep, I've been blessed, and we are helping not to just bless ourselves, but I'm trying to bless others in the process. So by me posting all that stuff out, it's not just helping me, it's me trying to help people too, because someone out there is listening, just like the Jim Richard gems that you've been dropping today. Someone outside who has come from, there is at least one person that's come from a similar walk of life. Like even my oldest brother, Travis Hales, went through something similar to that when his mom went to prison. And he had your mom didn't go to prison. I'm just saying, like, he's someone that grew up in a boys' home. So, but he could relate to your mom and her being in the orphanage kind of in a way until kind of met us. So I'm just saying, there's someone out there, you dropping these gems today. There's a reason why you need to post that stuff out there and not worry about what your friends are. Because when I got a business profile, I got to see that most of my support was actually coming from outside people, non-followers. I have like a 97% from non-followers that are tuning in. Wow. So yeah, don't worry about what people think immediately. Do what you're going to do to keep blessing people, Richard.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So the thing I want Richard to talk, he wanted to do a hair show here in South Carolina. Okay. Do you mind me sharing that? You share that?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Go ahead and talk about that hair show you were trying to do here in South Carolina. A very
Um,
good one. You don't have to tell all the.
so yeah,
Just
I'm trying
do
to
it.
see like
Just
how to
tell
tell.
you that how you're
So
gonna try to put that together. That's pretty much what I'm saying.
all right, so the history of it is basically that my career started really. I gained popularity from hair battles.
Okay.
If it wasn't a hair battle, technically, I mean, out in the hair industry, of course, I was popular as being a dancer, but in the hair industry, it was the hair battles, and the hair shows where I really was able to like captivate and like become Richard the Stylist. Like
Yeah.
I said, I won two $10,000 hair battles,
Oh wow.
um, and so that's kind of the foundation of like who I am in the hair industry. And one of the things that when I think about like how do I move forward, like how do I maneuver as a hairstylist of 16 years and still try to be relevant and still like have the passion and don't get burned out and all these things. And
Yeah.
so one of the things that what stood out to me is reaching back and going from like my foundation, and my foundation has been hair shows. Now, one of the things that has, and this, people hearing this might be like, oh my God. But one of the things that like in here in South Carolina that kind of stopped or slowed down the hair show world is that no one wanted to compete against me because I was winning all the hair shows. And so I decided that I was going to years later, because that like it was not existent. Like I would, if I signed up and people would tell people that I'm one of the competing contestants,
Yeah.
they
It was
would pull
back
out, they would bail out. And
Oh.
so I can't be the only one competing and win the show. And so then the show wouldn't have any, competitors, and so it wouldn't
Yeah.
last. And so eventually it kind of just it was non-existing. But some few years back, I wanted to bring that back, and I had a partner who was a promoter, and we went on this journey to create this hair show, kind of maybe kind of the same rhythm as the things that I had participated in the past.
Yeah.
And long story short, but the week before the show, the promoter bailed on me.
Wow.
Like
Man.
called the venue, canceled the show, and the hard part was not that it was canceled, it was that it was done behind my back. And
That's even.
because he is a promoter and I am the face of this industry,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it looked bad on me.
Yeah. I know how that feels. Yeah.
And so not only did it look bad on me, but it broke me in some ways to where like I became distant from the hair world.
Oh.
And because I was embarrassed, I was broken, and I felt like I had accomplished all these things, and people had looked at me in this manner, and
Yeah.
to see me look like I'm failing at this thing in front of everybody was something
Yeah.
that I was not prepared. Like I wasn't used. I didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's.
But then
I'm sorry to hear that
my
too.
my daddy said, "You got to be a better loser
Absolutely.
than a winner." And
Yeah.
so I picked myself back up and slowly started to just like maneuver through building my confidence back into the industry of cosmetology. And
Yeah.
then COVID happened, and then I closed my salon and I quit
Yeah.
working. I didn't work for like a year and a half
Oh yeah.
before the opportunity of meeting your mom, which is
Okay. Oh
also
wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, a year and a half ago, I was not
making me
servicing
feel Jim
clients.
Richard making
Yeah.
me
Jim.
Yes, I haven't serviced clients in almost a year and a half before meeting her, and so I had clearly kind of washed my hands with the industry. I was so stressed out, so
Oh man.
depressed. So I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do this,
Yeah.
but I don't know what I want to do. But this might not be it.
Yeah.
But of course, life happens to the point of I have to do what I know how to do to survive, and so
Yeah.
I um I meet a friend of mine, and because we didn't mention his name before, I won't mention his name
Yeah.
now.
That's
So
fine. Yeah.
I meet,
We never
yeah.
mention names.
And
You
so,
can just kind of. Yeah.
right. So I meet a friend of mine at his salon, and I'm doing a photo shoot there for a company that I used to work for, a product line. I no longer work for them, so I won't mention their name
Yeah.
either.
You don't. I know how that is. I know how that is.
But
Very
I
good.
worked for a product line for years. I mean, on stage, platform artists, selling products, introducing the product to other people. And so a friend of mine worked for the same product line. The difference was that the friend of mine happened to be a celebrity stylist at the time where I have done celebrities. I'm not really a celebrity stylist because I don't do them on a consistent basis. So I don't play with the name. I could, but I just don't.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we meet there or whatever, and I tell this friend about my situation and how I feeling, and while I walk away from the industry, and I haven't been doing hair or makeup or anything in the beauty industry for over a year, and my friend says, I completely understand. You have a home here. I never worked in a salon. I was just
Oh, wow.
there for the photo shoot. Never asked. I just didn't. But anyway, he was like, I completely understand. Whenever you're ready to jump back in the industry, you should come here. I think it'll be a
Wow.
great fit for you. Not only that, but I think you'll get the thing that you need, whatever
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
And so it took me about I feel like it was like 6 months. It might have been 4, but like 4 to 6 months to me to actually say yes. I
Mhm.
kind of played around with the idea. I tossed around with it. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start working again. And I'm gonna go to a salon that, mind you, I'd never worked in a full
Yeah.
service salon with multiple people. Now, the largest salon that I worked in, it might have been 4, maybe
Okay.
5, but 4 consistently.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Employees or what do I call people that work with me? It's other stylists.
Yeah.
Like, what are they called?
Other
Yeah, that would
stylists.
be other
Yes,
stylists,
other,
co-workers.
yes, yes.
Co-workers, whatever.
Co-workers. There you go. That's the co-workers. And so when I
That's
moved to
okay with
this salon is now I would be number 10. And what I didn't realize is that everybody that was in the salon was handpicked.
Oh, okay, wow.
And so this was like not only that, but it was like introducing me to a different world, or where God was like, you know what, I'm choosing you to be over here. And
Yeah.
these are the reasons why. And I didn't know that. I'm just thinking I'm maneuvering and making decisions of my own. And I'm
Yeah.
making this story very long, but
Oh,
sorry.
no, you're good.
No,
You're good.
that's excellent.
It's our show, man, so you got time.
So that is going to that salon in Charlotte was the fuel to what I needed to like regain my passion and to provide clarity for who and what I am in this industry. Because I had worked so hard in South Carolina and I had made a name for myself, but I feel like I couldn't reinvent myself because everybody was also so used to what I already become, like what I already was.
Yeah.
And so to reinvent myself, to change prices, to look different, to add different colors and layers to who I am as a person, people still know me as Richard, who just graduated from Kenneth Schuler, who used to dance on Apollo stage.
Yeah.
And to say that I'm more than that, I'm bigger than that was kind of a difficult thing for me to like juggle. And so
Yeah.
stepping away from that and then placing this environment where I can clearly understand and hear God saying that you're supposed to be here, but not for
Absolutely.
the place, but for you.
Yeah.
And
Amen.
being in an environment with so many hairstyles and seeing everybody move and find their rhythm, but still have time and space to give me compliments and to see me in a space. It wasn't like I wasn't there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They embraced me as if I was family. And these stylists have been together for 10 and 20 years,
Oh,
ranging, you know. So when I say new, I am very new. I'm like smack a baby's butt in this atmosphere.
yeah. Yeah.
In this atmosphere, but they treated me with so much love and dignity. You know what I mean? They honored and respect the craft and the gift that I brought into the space. And that allowed me to see myself in a different entity. And it allowed me to understand that I'm more than the things that I let go.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Amen.
That's right,
And,
Jim
Jim
Rich.
Richard with another Jim. I know that's right, Jim Richard. Yeah, I was like, that's another Jim. Richard.
I don't even, and the crazy part is that I don't even mean it. Like, I'm really just like trying to be as open and vulnerable as possible. And this is how my words are coming out.
Yeah, that's what Jim, Richard, that's what I love. That's why a couple things, there's 2 things I want to hit about what you said. You're being your authentic self. That's what we get out of people. That's what I always ask. I always want people to be their real self, and you're being your real self. And you're even discovering truths about yourself, and you're telling us that, which it's nice for you to share that with us, and we appreciate that. 2 things I wanted to say was, one, you mentioned the fact that I'm gonna figure out how to do this because 2 different ones I have to hit. I'll make sure I hit them both. But let me do this one first. Where the person at your salon who helped you out with getting you back into the game after the terrible experience that happened to you, when I lost my father to pancreatic cancer, I had already stepped away from acting to take care of him, but there were 2 people that were still with me. One was Britt Sanborn, who I've been part of her movie med company for 10 years now. She loves me to death. She said, Brandon, whenever you're ready to come back, you have a place waiting for you. And she's always kept me employed. She kept me employed through the pandemic. I've worked all the 911, Rookie, all those shows. I've worked for her, Code Black. She said, Brandon, when I was taking care of my father, she understood a few days I could fly back. This was before he got really sick. I was still flying back over, but when he got really sick, that like last 6 months, I didn't fly over at all. She said, Brandon, there's this place waiting for you whenever you want to come back. My dad passes away a week, literally a day after my dad passed away, 2 days after I passed away. I worked on a show called Blue Bloods for 5 years as Officer Danoon. Siobhan O'Connor wrote me and she said, hey, Brandon, I want you to come back to Blue Bloods. Blue Bloods was in New York City. My dad and my mom first took me to Blue Bloods. That was a very extremely emotional time for me because my dad, I walked the streets with my dad. He's the first person to take me along with my mom. And it was hard for me to go back to work because I was just emotionally upset at losing my dad, but I was also in New York. But it got me back to work. Siobhan O'Connor talked to me that day and it got me back to who I was as an actor. That helped me to get back into that limelight, just like the person who helped you out at your salon. Second part of that, Britt Sanborn. After I did that, I had to go back. I took about 5 months off. I'm like, hey guys, I'm not ready to go back. Britt called me back. She said, Brandon, whenever you're ready, I have a spot for you. So that's the one part of that. The other part was you said something along the lines of you feeling like not necessarily that you're in a small box, but how people perceived you or how people thought you were back in the day. They still saw you from, I can't remember the name of the school you mentioned. What's the name of the school? Schuler. Yeah. So you said that people still saw you as a Schuler, the school little dancer. I know how you feel, Richard, because when people forget, I had to check some of my friends here from college. I had to check them because they forget that I went out to Los Angeles by myself, 2,600 miles away, and I have a successful career, not just in Los Angeles, but New York and around here. They forget that I work in the movie business. They looked at me as if I was still Brandon from college, and I was still Brandon from college getting it done then. But difference is I am where I am now. So they try to keep me in that box, but they now saying, hey, Brandon isn't the same person we thought he was. I'm actually sorry, B, for saying what I said to you. I appreciate it. I had to check you, but you needed to be checked because you can never keep someone in a box if they don't belong in that box. Just because you're in that box, you don't have to put me in that box.
Amen, brother.
Right.
I guess you can call me. I call myself a different kind of preacher.
Yeah, different kind of
So that you're Jim Richard, I'm a different kind of preacher, and that's my.
I like that.
So, yeah, where you are. So, Richard, I just had to relate those two things to you. Of the fact that I'm glad that they got you back. You're discovering how amazing you are. Like because that one person failed you, and that happens in lifetime too. That's happened to me, and that person did something. What was meant for your harm turned out for your good.
Amen.
Right. Amen.
I agree, Brent. Do not let anyone change the trajectory of what God has for you. Because that means you letting this person or company or whatever, these people, it can be anybody, family, anyone.
Yeah.
Don't let them change what God, or put something, sometimes they don't really know it might have done something wrong. But at any rate, with that, God has a trajectory for your life to impact others, and he'll make it happen in your life. He'll make it happen. I don't care how you look at it, but he sees us. God has always seen us. He sees all his children. And so with that, I'm so glad that Brandon, because I always tell Brandon, there are going to be people out there, you call them friends, but I think by the end of your life, I told them, if you have a good 6 on one hand, half a dozen true friends who want the best for you, then that will be so. And so, Richard, I tell you the truth, what you two are doing in what God's path he has given you each, you're touching 4.7 million people,
17 countries.
And countries.
Wow, that's amazing.
And giving these everybody out there, the young people especially, because those are we have to work with the young people, and they have to see you too, and your career journey path or whatever, the ups and downs of it, the greatness of it, and how great God continues to make your journeys impacting lives. You understand? So I'm so glad that these stories that you're sharing, and the viewers come in and they have their own questions, because you can see we're fascinated, and I try to cover so many subjects because I say, well, time. Let's make sure we get everything in of that person.
Right.
We have time. Brandon always says, this is our show that God has given us to hit so many people in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
And that's the impact that I say God always wants to do with his children, us, all of us, is to hit and keep on running. Run and keep on impacting as many people as you can. And let them know their stories are not unique. And I always say there's so many stories to be told. And I'm so glad Brandon is making sure that those stories get told. All right. So okay, Richard, go ahead and tell us what else you want to
Yeah, man.
Well, I want to. Well, let me go back to because the question you asked me was about my idea about the hair show that I wanted
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
present. And I won't give a whole bunch of information because, like I said, it's still brewing. This is something that I am going to pull off in the future. I'm not actively starting it,
Yeah.
but because of my foundation in being in the hair show world, I want to be able to create or recreate that. And without saying too much, I'm going to recreate it to where that I could reach back and pull up some of younger people who might not have the finances to go to hair school or know how far they could go
Amen.
because it's trending. And I don't mean any disrespect to anybody that does hair at home or in their kitchen or just trying to get it up. And it's trending to do that. But there's a whole different industry and career that could take you into like so many places by just having the license underneath. I've done so many things that I don't mention. I've worked with celebrities. I've done New York Fashion Week. I've done Charleston Fashion Week.
Wow.
I've worked in Miami. I worked in Toronto.
Wow.
I've been on sets for a lot of different people. I've created illusions for a lot of different people. And where Brandon, we won't let you fuss at me right now because I don't market all of these things because
Yeah,
I
you
get
should
into my
be.
own head.
Yeah.
But we'll fuss at me later, not now.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
but yeah, I've done a lot of different things in the industry. I've been blessed to do them too because let's go back to me being raised by or my mom's an orphanage, and so she has not been exposed to half of the life that I have been exposed to. My mom still now currently has never been on an airplane.
Oh,
Currently
wow.
to this day, I was on my first airplane at 27 years old.
Holy smokes, yeah.
So
yeah, you still look 27, Richard. Had you not said anything other, I would have known.
Thank you.
Yeah, and don't say what you just keep that to yourself.
Yeah, I will, because that's how I hold on to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But actually, so what I will say is that my industry age is 27. So I tell people that my industry age is 27. So I stay there a lot.
Yeah, hey, works for us.
But yes, as far as your question, Mama Rush, that I am looking to reintroduce the hair show world here in South Carolina. And the way that I want to do it is to be able to reach back and to pull some of these young, inspiring male and female, or female and male, like young kids or young teens to be able to show them what the industry can actually do because it changed my complete life.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you'll always be blessed for that, Richard. And I'm trying to do the same thing, which is why I had the show. And that was actually always within me whenever I went out to Hollywood in the first place, was to give back to people that boys and girls that, even happen to look like me from Virginia, who no one from Virginia or South Carolina, because I've lived in both and went to college in both, have experienced that on that big of a level. And I wanted to give back. It's important to give back, I think. My parents raised me to that.
And the thing about it is, I told Brandon that because we lived in Virginia, they were born in Virginia. It's amazing. My friends, when I would work in the different industries, my friends always said South Carolina. Carolina's from South Carolina. It seems like since I have been back here for the last 5 years, the Lord has really put the spotlight on South Carolina, because a lot of people didn't hear about South Carolina, what was going on. And I said, I guess every time my friends now and co-workers I've had in the past, they say, what that girl from South Carolina, they kept telling us she probably wouldn't know us one day. I told them, I said, probably, I would always say, probably in this room, I would probably end up knowing 3 of you. And I'm in this big old concert of all these people, and they say, get up and introduce yourself. And I always get up and say, well, looking around, if I leave this comment, 3 of us still friends, or 2 or 1, I might know you. I said, that meant for God to know that. But I feel like this, and I'm so happy that you feel that in South Carolina, you can see a market growing in that area of helping young people do compete in shows, be able to look outside of this little South Carolina and go the world. And like you two are doing.
Yeah.
And so that makes me feel happy that you are looking to see in your industry to take these young people and make them bring their, or help them bring their creative ability out to be able to take that somewhere and impact others in the world. That's what I'm amazed about.
Yeah.
I think it's important to kind of know the difference. And it's funny because Brandon, I had a lot of your dream. Like I
Yeah.
wanted to go to LA. I wanted to go to New York.
Mhm.
I didn't have the education like we didn't, and then I was raised by, you know, my mom didn't know. So we didn't
Yeah.
know about auditions and agencies and different things and avenues that you could like that's
Mhm.
tangible to you that get you to the next level. So I didn't
Yeah.
know any of those things. But what I will go back to is that going to the salon in Charlotte and having my friend and like looking at that, what I realized is that everybody's journey is different.
Yeah, it
So
is.
sometimes, so it's different from watering the seed and then picking the seed out of the ground, messing up all the soil dirt, breaking the roots, and then putting it somewhere else, and then trying to put water on it again. And what
Yeah.
I learned is that I became an entity in somebody else's city.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I did great, but they had already built their thing there
Yeah.
in their city. And
Yeah.
it was, and so what happened in hindsight, I'm like, hold on, wait. If the people that I'm servicing in this city is following me back to my city, maybe I should be the man in my city.
I know that's right, Jim Richard. I know that's right. I know
And
that's right.
so
Richard, I
this
need to
is,
get a photo with you in the hat and have that on a shirt. Being like, yo, Jim Richard said this.
yes.
Yeah.
But
I know that's
seriously, like when I transitioned back to coming back to South Carolina, because I no longer work in Charlotte,
yeah.
that was the thing that kept like I kept trying to figure out the rhythm and why. And I respect my friend so much because he just has it down to a science. Like it's perfect. Not only is it perfect, but it showed me that he's grounded. His
Yeah.
seed is in North Carolina,
Uh-huh.
but he's watered from all over the world.
Amen.
Isn't it something?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so I'm trying to
amen.
go out here and find all the water when
Yeah.
I could be planted and seed and let the world water me.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Amen, Jim Richard.
So I'm not even trying at this point. I promise you, I'm not.
I know you're not, Richard. Richard, I can see fake people from a mile away.
That's right.
There's no fakeness to you, and you're 100% real. If I thought you were differently, I know you're telling the truth. That's why I love it.
Isn't that something?
Oh, I appreciate it.
Any questions you want to ask of us? Because I know any questions.
It's all good, Richard.
It's all good if you don't have.
Yeah,
I always tell people, I want to make sure you got everything that you wanted to say today.
And we'll have you back too.
We're going to have you back on the show, but I want to make sure that you have said everything, because I want to make sure that people know that you are here. You are outstanding. And this is the first time I've been able to keep my hair, because Richard told me how to keep it at night, so that it would look like, it doesn't look like he just did it, but it's not too far from that, because Richard gave me advice.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that advice. That's why I wanted everybody to know that too, because I'm going to have to come back to what it is. But with that said, Richard, I want them to tell them how they can find you.
Rich.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
So
I gotta pause it. Hold on a second. I just want to get your Richard.
Can you hear me?
It's whenever you tap the thing.
When you tap the earpiece.
Richard, there?
I think my camera's off though.
Oh, it's all good. Richard, we wanted to get your the final thing. Oh yeah, Richard,
sorry.
we're gonna get this final bit from you. Any information that you have where you can be reached and all that kind of stuff. Are your handles or something else?
Oh, well, I think you can be Googled, isn't it? You have to set up an appointment on your schedule.
Yes. Okay. So you can Google me. I am at Richard the Stylist. All things are Richard the Stylist. But my website is IamRichardTheStylist.com.
Okay. Say that one more time, Richard. Just again.
IamRichardTheStylist.com. And what that is a booking site, and so it just allows you to be able to book an appointment with me. My number's on there too, and so if anybody has questions, comments, concerns, you can shoot me a text message or a call. Text message is going to be better because I'm always working with my hands, so I'm not always able to just like answer a call. You can also follow me on Instagram at Richard the Stylist. Facebook, I'm Richard Sims. Yeah, that's all of my things.
One thing a person asked me, if they have alopecia, lost hair loss, and this person asked me that recently, and if they are on cancer treatments, is there any way they can have a private setting? Private, can they set up and have it privately done within your salon? Can you work with those types of patients? Not patients,
like alopecia or cancer patients?
Yeah. So I owned a salon for 7 years. When I owned a salon, I actually had a dedicated space for private clients. What I call like my multi-purpose room, because I also did other things in that room, but we would schedule it out. So if a client booked an appointment and they had something, and it doesn't have to be alopecia, it could be anything, or they just wanted that personal space, they could book out that service. I currently I told you guys a story about me coming back to South Carolina and closing my salon or whatever. So I currently work in a salon that does not provide that space. But the service that I do provide is that I will travel to a person if they want to have a private service. It's a little bit different because we have to work into the guidelines of my license. So certain things I cannot do in the space. But as long as it's not like, and I wouldn't necessarily put a chemical on somebody who has alopecia anyway, but as long as it's not like a chemical service or something that's like in the guidelines of my licenses. But yes, I provide private services where I will come to, and not only for alopecia, not only for like private hair services, but a lot of my clients that I call my luxury or VIP clients, I service them at their homes. I will go through their closet to style them or tell them the things that we need to add in it. If there is, makeup or an event or a photo shoot, all those things are done on location. And so a client with alopecia can kind of fit in those on location guidelines, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
that sounds good, Richard.
And you would give advice to a patient who has cancer and they are losing their hair from the treatment, chemo. They would be able to come and ask you advice about how to get their hair out, what products to use for their hair. Because someone did ask.
So I am a cosmetologist, not a dermatologist.
Oh, there
so
you
it's
go.
It's a little bit different when you're talking about the hair follicle and why is it falling out and different skin conditions and that sort of thing. And so where I'm not licensed to be able to diagnose or to tell you those things.
No, you're right.
But what I do on the flip side is that if somebody is dealing with cancer and they want to have, or have questions about their hair, of course, if the hair is falling out, then we're not going to be dealing with the actual hair that's growing from their head. I can try to make them as comfortable as possible with commercial hair or building the confidence to wear no hair at all. And so what I do is that I'll push back and instead of it being more about hair styling, I'm going to jump into confidence building.
Oh, wow. That's amazing, Richard. That's actually so important, man. I have a friend who has cancer right now, she's lost her hair and all that kind of stuff. And that alone right there is going to be a blessing to so many people. I never even thought about that.
Yes, I've serviced so many clients that's had cancer. I have literally been in the shampoo bowl, and I have rinsed hair off of clients' head. And that's a journey to be able to go through that and them being upset and tears and still having to maintain because I have another client after this. You know what I mean? And I'm crying and I'm losing myself and I don't know what to do and I don't have an answer. And these are things that you juggle as a hairstylist, and the downfall is that so many people think because this is your career or this is what you do on a daily basis that you have an answer. And the reality is that none of us do, not even the doctors. The answers belong in the hands of the Lord.
Amen.
And so that's what I push to build my confidence or to build their confidence off of is that, listen, this is just a thing, but it's not the thing that keeps you alive. That's your soul.
Absolutely.
And without that, then you're nothing. But hair is just that. And so we can buy it, we can cover it up, or we can wear it as is. And those are our options. And once you understand what those three things are, what your options are, then we can move forward with the best mindset possible. And it's going to take reinforcement from not only me, but then it takes your family. I go into all the things of like building that that confidence. But yes, that's what I would tell somebody if they were looking to come to me, and they had, issues with cancer or hair loss, that sort of thing, because I cannot provide all the answers, but what I can do is build confidence and take you back to the
Absolutely.
source.
Amen. Hey, Richard, Jim Richard at that. You're a blessing. I gotta say that I gotta thank first off, Jim Richard, I gotta thank you for coming on here today. I gotta thank my mom as well, because my mom talked you up and she was not wrong.
Wow.
With you being on here. You've been a blessing to us. You've been a blessing to her. You've been a blessing to me today. You've been a blessing to the show. And blessing to these 4.7 million people in 17 countries out here that just heard this.
That's right.
Or will hear this, excuse me.
Yes.
I want to thank both of you guys because both of you guys have been a blessing to me. Not only that, but seeing you guys work together and have this show together is so inspiring. You know what I mean? Like it's very rare that we could see a mom and son duo, and and not only, but it means so much to me because like you guys remind me of me and my mom.
Yeah.
Like, the closeness, the genuine, like the unity, like that's us all day. And so for me to be a part of something that feels so familiar, not only that, but you guys make me feel so at home. Like it would like yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so ecstatic to see where God takes you both next.
Absolutely.
Your mom is an innovative, like
Yeah.
she is innovative, and I love her for it. But not only that, but I love how much she loves you when you're not around.
Yeah.
And so I want to tell you in real time that this lady loves you.
Absolutely.
She
Thank
loves
you.
Richard.
Appreciate you, man. I appreciate
Yes.
you being on. The one thing I just want to say about mom just for a second is the fact that when I was starting up this show and I knew I needed some support, I asked my mom to be my coach here. I was a little bit worried that she wasn't going to do it at first, but she said, I was waiting for you when you were going to ask me. So
I believe that.
She's been amazing. She's always supported me and everything, just like my dad supported when he was allowed to, but both my parents, but my mom and my mom, it's just been supportive.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, Richard. Well, we got to give you a clap, man.
All right. I got to give y'all one too. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Richard.
You'll be back on because there's more things. I'm making notes. And so the next time you're on, when you can work us in, because he's a busy man.
Absolutely.
And he's going to get busier.
Yeah.
We will have you on and you tell us when, and we're just ready for you.
You.
Yes, I'm excited. I would love to. So yes, let's match those schedules, and I'm down for it. You guys have me. I'm locked. I'm buckled up. I'm ready. I'm buckled up.
Jim Richard, we got you. We got you, Jim Richard.
Love you,
Richard. Love you, man.
Yeah, love you too. Yeah.
Thank you too, man. Bravo.
Oh my God.
Richard, I'll have this back to you probably within like 48 hours or less, man.
Cool, perfect. I'm gonna post.
Yeah, you good. All right, take care, Richard.
All right, bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wasn't that
Richard.